go shock.
Hey, Jesus Christ. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel.
Welcome. What was this?
You tried. Hello guys, today I have my very good friend David with me. Today I'm going to be interviewing David, who wrote Krok/MBBS after me. He wrote it last year, so he's like the most recent set to write because this year they haven't written theirs yet, and he scored the highest in his level / course / yes. I know that right now we are all in exam periods. Third years are getting ready to write their MBBS / Krok. 6th years are getting ready to write their MBBS / Krok. Other courses like the rest of us, we are also rounding up our exams. But this is exam period everywhere, even back home in Nigeria. Right now, May period is like a period of exams. So I decided to make a video about studying and reading and stuff like that. Question number 1, when did you start preparing for Krok? Or did you do more like a passive reading over the years? You know, some people don't read to decide for exam.
I think I'll answer that question in 2 parts.
Okay.
Based on people that are watching the video.
Okay.
So if you're watching this video in your first year, in your second year, alright, maybe early third year, what I advise you to do, be serious in your classes. That's what I'll tell you. Especially the classes that, have relation to Krok. They give a lot of assignments in biochemistry, but read biochemistry. It will accumulate, in your third year. When you're trying to read and prepare for the examinations, when you see the past questions, it's things that you're already familiar with. So no need for you to overthink something, and it comes faster to you than to some other person that was joking. Alright. My first semester of third year, I wasn't really reading Krok like that. I was just making sure I was reading for my part phys, part morph, and pharmacology, because those are 3 subjects that will come out in Krok. So I was making sure I was focused on those ones to make sure that I get as much knowledge as I need. It's better for you to understand those classes very well. You have a base for me to build on, and you can answer the questions properly.
Ask Denise.
Yes. So I was attending her classes passively, just to make sure I have an idea of what is going on. There was a lot of pressure around, but I made sure to do my own thing. Do your own thing. If you know you're someone that needs to do more, Krok, more past questions, for you to be able to get it, then do it. Don't let anybody influence or force your decision. It's your body, it's your mind. You know how you study best.
And then what about second semester? How was second semester?
I'm talking January, February. I'm just looking through, making sure I'm acclimatized with some questions. The aim should be that the night before Krok, that you don't read anything. Don't judge yourself with anybody else. There are people I can say that that most definitely read more than me in terms of quantity. They started before me, they read more than me, and that might be what works for them. But I just focused on what works for me. What works for me is that the time I am reading, I make sure it's to my strengths, quality. I wasn't so to say cramming. But there are some questions that don't make sense, so sometimes you do have to cram. But all the ones that do make sense, I was making sure I had an understanding of the question and why the answer was the answer and why the other answers weren't the answers. So even if they twist the question,
which they
yes, they do, or ask it in a different form, you'll still be able to find your square root. You'll still be able to know where you are and how to get the answer. So I had this book where I wrote down everything I learned from the class for each year, each question. When I was reading, this is why the class really helped me. So when I was reading, I wasn't starting from scratch. I already had a base, to build on. Yeah. So I just opened up my books. I read with the book from the class, So when you ask me this question, whether I started from subject base or
whether I said from
booklets, I combined. When I did the past years, you see where you're strong and you see where you're weak.
Yes.
So where you're weak, I went to the subject bases and I finished the subject bases for those questions.
Before you continue.
Before I continued because I know there are some other subjects. Of course, you're strong in some areas and you're weak. So I chose to focus on where I was weak on. So I set it something like, okay, every 2 days I finish, because the base was 200 questions here. So every 2 days I finish one base. I made it realistic based on my standards because I know I'm not someone that, I can't stay the whole day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. on study. I'm not saying it like this, but the truth about it is that it takes a lot of focus and discipline. Of course, it's not every day that I did 100.
Let's be realistic. This is like an average.
I did.
Yeah.
Some days I even did 30, 50. It's just I have to cover it up.
Yeah, this is like an average. Nobody is perfect.
Yeah, nobody is perfect, and I know what works for me. So my plan was, I do 2019 as like a test of knowledge. The thing about past questions is that in a way you end up starting to get familiarized with the questions and the answers. So I made sure I left one unattended to, so that I'll be able to have like a estimate of what I would do in a spontaneous examination. So 2019, I did 2019 without prior looking to it, and I found out that I did okay. So it is a question that you're always feeling like a particular line of question. Maybe your weakness is vitamins. You don't know which vitamin causes which is in biochemistry, whether it's forel or whatever, retinol. You go back to that and you read it again.
Pharmacology, because pharmacology is another weak point for a lot of people.
Thank you. Some of them, the endings give away what they are for.
Yes.
But of course, it doesn't work for everything. So what you can do is just basically repetition. Just going through over and over. Or me, so as I am right now, I still have to go through over some drugs, because honestly, keeping everything in your head is not.
You're not perfect.
Yeah, and there are so many. So what you're doing is that you're going through the important ones, the ones that they most frequently ask.
Which time of the day worked for you? Because were you like a morning person, very early in the morning, especially during this quarantine period where we didn't really have offline classes? Or are you more of a night kind of person, when everybody is asleep, that's when you prefer to study?
The truth about that is that I try to read early in the morning, but sometimes it doesn't work for me. I prefer to do it in the evenings or in the night. That's my go-to, but it depends on the day. I had a goal for the day. I wanted to meet that goal. It didn't matter for me what time of the day that I met that goal, so far as I met the goal.
Okay.
So if in the morning, let's say I have a really important class I need to read for, I read for that class. Then in the evening I do the Krok.
Okay.
Or let's say in the morning I don't have the class, so I read Krok. Then in the evening I have to read for class the next day. So I don't have
it's fixed.
I just have a goal for the day.
I know that during your Krok time, you also had other things you were doing. You had church, you had your personal activities you were also doing. How did you balance that?
The matter is that you have to sacrifice comfort if you want to balance it, especially if you have a busy schedule. The matter is that it's not going to be easy. You just have to make some sacrifices, especially if you want to keep moving with the same routine that you have. If you're not going to an activity or going to a conference or going to church is important for you, you're going to make time for it. And you have to wake up a bit earlier. But the matter is that you can balance it.
I hope you guys learned a thing or two from this. The truth is, when I was close to my exam, even though I knew what I was supposed to do, I still went online to look for, and I was still typing how to prepare for Krok. Even though I basically knew I should be studying. So I hope some of you find this video very useful. And these rules don't just apply to Krok, it applies to any exam in your life. But we are basing it on Krok because that is the phase, or that is
that you're in right now.
Yeah, that is our life right now.
If you know what I'm saying or what we are talking about right now doesn't work for you, then it's fine. Do what works for you. But the matter is that your goal should be to be done preparing the day before or days before the examination. To be done with everything. So, for example, let's say they move the examination up a day or up 2 days. You should already be okay and ready to handle that. So, whatever you have to do to make sure that happens, please do it.
So you have to personalize it, but this is what worked for you, so someone else can use your pattern, but you don't have to follow it precisely.
And don't be nervous, please.
It's not nervous, it's not easy. It's not easy not to be nervous, honestly.
If eating food will make you calm, my sister, my brother, please eat your food.
If you have the appetite,
yes, eat your food. If you don't, fine. That might be what works for you.
If you have any question at all, you can text me or you can put in the comment section. I will reply. If you have any question about David, let me know as well, and I will get it across to him. Thank you so much for this video.
Thank you for having me.
So guys, see you in my next video. Till then,
like and subscribe, guys.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Don't forget.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.